Good morning. Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Steve Daniel, pronouns he, him, his, and I'm usually in the booth running the PowerPoints, but we have a special guest who's often in there as well, Rusty Nato, running them this morning. So I'm serving as your worship associate this morning, and I'm joined by our worship leader, the president of the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, Reverend Mary Catherine Moore. So, and her pronouns are she, her, hers. We're excited to welcome you to our worship service this morning. We're so glad to have you here with us today, whether you're joining us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time or you've been coming here for longer than you can remember. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths and of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, whomever you love, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. So we have a couple of announcements before we get to the call to worship. We'll start off with the Cat Sabi.
Good morning. Please join us on Saturday, June 8th from 9:30 to 1 for an exciting workshop with the Stewardship Task Force. We need your help in considering innovative and creative ways to grow our support of Horizon while nurturing new and existing members. Together, we'll develop a year-long plan that encompasses gratitude, fun, and service. Whether you're brand new or have been here for many years, we'd love to have you join us for a great conversation about Horizon. Lunch and childcare are available. RSVP either through the link in the newsletter or on the church calendar on the website, so we have a head count for both. Thank you.
And we have another announcement, so I'm calling up Saj, Lisa, Kel, and Carmen for this special announcement.
Good morning. My name is Saj Survey. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a member of the Horizon Board. And on behalf of the board, I was asked to say some words about Carmen, our dear Carmen, as this is a bittersweet Sunday. This is her last Sunday as our pianist, as she is officially retiring. So, I have been coming to Horizon for about 10 years now. And in that time, I have sung with the choir. I have sung with the Horizon Band, Ronnie and the Walnuts. I've sung with Horizon players. I've sung on this stage. I've sung over there. I've sung in Fellowship Hall. I've sung online when we were in COVID times doing virtual recordings for church service. And through all of those performances, always quiet in the background, was Carmen, who made everything work as far as music was concerned. We would not have a music program without Carmen. And so I would like to invite Kel to say a few words as well.
So Carmen knows how grateful I am for her, I hope, but I haven't gotten really to address those feelings publicly. So of course, this job has been basically my first, straight out of college. And of course, Carmen has years and years and years and years of experience out in the world. And that's not what I'm saying. So, but to come into a situation like this was quite intimidating. But Carmen has been nothing but incredibly supportive and encouraging to me, and that has meant the world. And she's also been just the highest standard of professionalism, both in a musician sense and just in an interpersonal sense. And she just has the purest heart that you all know. I could not have done any of what I've done here without her. So thank you again so much, and we'll miss you. I'll miss you, even just after this 1 year. So thank you.
And so, Carmen, if you could come forward here. On behalf of the board and the congregation, we have a little token for you. So this right here is a commemorative box that says Carmen engraved on the front. And if you would just go ahead and open that for us here. Okay. And you can, I'll read the outside. So it has our logo on there, Horizon, and then it says, "In gratitude to Carmen Dubrava for her 16 years of service to Horizon UU Church. May these memories remind you of the impact you have made." And the box is filled with photographs from her time here and notes from the congregation as well wishes for you. And so even in retirement is fleeting. Although this is her final Sunday with us in the official capacity as Horizon's pianist. She has agreed to substitute for us over the summer. So she'll be with us over the summer as our pianist. And so we can think of these notes and photos as kind of like seed money, you know? The box is actually going to stay up on the piano through the summer, so if you'd like to add anything to the box in terms of tickets to Horizon Players things, any memorabilia from your time here, any other well wishes for Carmen, we will collect them in this box over the summer, and then when she finishes her time at the end of the summer, this box will be hers to take for those memories. So.
Follow up on that nice farewell there. I'd remind you that as a community, we also welcome the sharing of joys, sorrows, and concerns. And you're welcome to fill out the joys and sorrows slip on the table near the Welcome Center, in the pockets of the chairs, and on the joys and sorrow table in front of the sanctuary. And/or you're welcome to just come and light a candle. And this can be done anytime today before or through the anthem. Okay, a little bit different order. Our call to worship this morning is from John Englander. In Greenland, Antarctica, and beyond, the ice is melting into rivers. Giant glaciers gradually soften. Gravity guides them surely to the sea. Inexorable, unstoppable, we are impotent to halt the waters of the rivers of ice, 200,000 in number, mostly beyond our sight and mind. Unseen, but in control of our coastal world, frozen waters are changing form. Our ocean planet is reminding us of our place, our connection to the sea. Steady shores lured us, invited us to build bigger and bigger, as if we were in command. Silly us. We have awakened the sleeping polar giants. A sea change has begun. This is a new epoch. Welcome to the Anthropocene. It is a revolutionary reality. The sea is rising. Slowly now, she is giving us time to adapt, if we dare look at the future. King tides make it clear waters will go from feet to chin. We will emerge or be submerged. Now is the time for us to rise. Yeah, it's chalice. So our chalice lighting was written by Langston Hughes. To you who are the foam on the sea and not the sea, what of the jagged rocks and the waves themselves and the force of the mounting waters? You are but foam on the sea, you rich ones, not the sea. All right, and each Sunday this summer, we will be watering the flowers that we planted communally on Earth Day, in a ritual in April. This reminds us of the seeds we plant in community each time we come together at Horizon. Please join me in saying our watering words. You'll find them on the screen behind me. In colors bright and essence sweet, like flowers we blossom when we meet. O source of light, our sign we raise, this beauty fills our hearts with praise. Thank you. Okay, please join me in our affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen. Love is the doctrine of our church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in harmony with the earth, thus do we covenant together. So I invite you to rise in body or in spirit and join us in singing our opening hymn, number 1028, and the teal hymnal, The Fire of Commitment.
Thank you. Please be seated. Horizon partners with Metro Crest Services to make a difference in this local community. Each week, you are invited to bring items for the Metro Crest Pantry, such as shelf-stable foods, hygiene products like shampoo, toothpaste, tampons, and so on, diapers, and baby wipes. We do ask that items not be contained in glass. If you have brought items for Metro Crest, please pass them to the aisle so they can be collected by our children at this time. There are a handful of children I've seen. I know a number of the young people are in the parking lot, but I've seen a few children in the room. Are there any, if you'll raise your hand if there's something to be collected. If not, There is something to be collected? Great. If not, then I'm going to ask those who are young and young at heart, if you are comfortable coming forward for our story. It will give me some moral support to have you if you're comfortable coming forward. Thank you for helping to collect. Beautiful. Great, come on up. Thank you. My name's Mary Catherine. I also go by MK, and I am colleagues with your minister, Reverend Chris. I'm so sorry that they're not able to be with us, but Reverend Chris and I spoke, and I really appreciate Reverend Chris's invitation to be with you and to be part of your worship this morning. Reverend Chris is in Chicago at the graduation of one of our seminaries, so they are participating there, and I'm glad to be here with you. Speaking of Reverend Chris is a leader here, right? A leader among the congregation. I was wondering if you could help me know who the other leaders at Horizon are. Well, let me tell you, I know one. I wanted the chance to say just one, because when I was training to become a minister, I went to school at Perkins School of Theology, which is just down the road, and I went to church with Marty Robinson, who's a founding mother here, and I just wanted to say I'm holding her in my heart while I'm here with you. And it was actually while I was at seminary that this congregation was founded. So Marty is a very important leader here, right, at Horizon. Who are the other leaders at Horizon? Who can help me? Anybody have a name? You're being pointed to. Can you say your name? Lisa is the president of the board. Lisa's a leader. Who else?
She's the lady
Who
who helps with Metro Crest services.
helps with Metro Crest? Blonde? Glasses, blonde. Lauren. Great. Lauren's in the parking lot right now helping lead with the car wash. Who are the other leaders? Kel is a leader. Great. At Horizon. Anyone else? Sandy, what's your leadership role? Sandy, we love you. Thank you for your good work. And actually, before the service, Sandy said she was going to help us grow the membership of UUSC here at Horizon. So we're really grateful for that. Right now, we have 38 members. We'd love to double that. So y'all can help this morning. Okay, well, so I want to tell you just really quickly how I became a minister, how I found Unitarian Universalism, because there's a leader here that you didn't name yet that I want to make sure we name, although she has been named. But so when I was in college, one of my jobs was I played the piano at a Presbyterian church in Shreveport, not so far from here. And while I was there, I learned from my brother, who was attending the Unitarian Universalist church, that the UUs needed a piano player. And my brother said, "You're gonna like it a lot more." And he had no idea how much I was gonna like it. So my very first job in a Unitarian Universalist church was as the piano player. So I learned a ton about leadership sitting at the piano bench. And I've asked Carmen to help me a little bit, to share a little bit about what leadership as an accompanist looks like. And I really appreciate Carmen, who told me she's shy, and the piano bench is where she chose to be. But I'd love to hear your thoughts on what is important for an accompanist as they are a leader.
Well, I like to tell everybody that whoever I'm accompanying, congregation, a choir, a soloist, that we work as a team, but it's not about me. It's about the other guy. I'm there to make you look good. If I don't make you look good, I haven't done my job.
So what are some of the things you do to make everybody look good?
Well, I know my part, right? I set the pace, and I stick with you like glue no matter where you might wander. And we begin together, and we end together.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate it. I left the piano bench, and I did kind of move to the center of the stage in my own leadership, because the pulpit often is kind of center stage. But I wanted to share this morning that when I found UUSC and started to be part of UUSC as the president, which was 6 years ago, one of the things that made me so happy about being at UUSC and so proud to be part of UUSC is that this idea of accompaniment is really central to how UUSC leads. That we aren't in the center stage, that it's not about us, that our work is about accompanying people who have been impacted by injustice, people who lead the way to change, and we show up, we stay from the beginning to the end, we work hard to keep a pace and rhythm, we stay in the background, but still, we're part of leading for justice and creating change through the work of accompaniment. You've probably heard about the importance of accompaniment with asylum seekers. And UUSC is a part of that through our CAPAS program, Congregational Accompaniment Program with asylum seekers. We can tell you more about that after the service. And now we're actually expanding our work of accompaniment, direct accompaniment, through our Pink Haven network, which is supporting people who are trans and their families who are in need of accompaniment as they find a new safe place to live when the states they live in, the places they live, have become unsafe for them. We appreciate your being partners with us in the work of accompaniment to build another world. I don't know what happens now. Would you join us as we sing the children to their religious education classes? Our reading this morning from poet Rosemary Wotala Tromer, a reflection, I believe that she wrote it during the pandemic. And in response to an experience I think many of us had in that time and since and before, because human, of being asked, how are you? You know that moment somebody passes, how are you? And there's this, sometimes just a deep breath, because we've seen the paper, because we feel the warming earth, because we have friends impacted by storms in Houston, because we know the war rages on in Gaza, because our beloved has gotten a difficult diagnosis, and because the sun shines in this spring, illuminating the beautiful life that is abundant. The poem is called For When People Ask. I want a word that means okay and not okay. More than that, a word that means devastated and stunned by joy. I want the word that says, I feel it all at once. The heart is not like a songbird singing only one note at a time, more like a Tuvan throat singer, able to sing both a drone and simultaneously 2 or 3 harmonics high above it. A sound, the Tuvans say, that gives the impression of wind swirling among rocks. The heart understands swirl. How the churning of opposite feelings weaves through us like an insistent breeze, leads us wordlessly deeper into ourselves, blesses us with paradox, so we might walk more openly into this world so rife with devastation, so ripe with joy.
Now is the time that we honor the sorrows and joys of this community, knowing that we are all interconnected and what affects one affects us all. So we have a sorrow from Jamie Peace this morning that they just found out a couple of days ago on Friday that her mom has been diagnosed with breast cancer. And then we light an additional candle for all the joys and sorrows that remain unspoken.
I've got one special one. I'd like to acknowledge our special visitor today. Our new Peter was a longtime member and has done more for this church than we could ever talk about.
You're welcome. We inspired Peter being here. Peter's part of the group that met this weekend with UUSC. He says something about a board game conference that also had to do with it. I don't know. I'm sure it was UUSC, but we're glad to share him with you. We gather up the joys and sorrows that we carry with us when we come together once again to worship in community, affirming the power of coming together, joining our hearts in prayer, joining with each other in our celebrations, and carrying each other, leaning on each other in times of struggle and sorrow and fear. May we give thanks for the beautiful gift of community that holds us and heals us and calls us to bring the best we have and the best we are for the building of a beautiful world. Amen.
Our responsive hymn will be number 184 in the gray hymnal, Be Ye Lamps Unto Yourselves.
Thank you for your patience with my unfamiliarity with the order of things. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I need you. I don't know y'all, so help me out this morning. I just want to take a moment to say a little bit about UUSC and why we're here, and before I introduce the reading, which we're actually going to watch, which is actually a video. As I said a moment ago, UUSC has brought some of our supporters to this area over the weekend to come together to learn about the work of UUSC, to talk about the challenges we're facing. And I wanted to recognize those who are with the UUSC Stewardship Circle who are here. If you would raise your hand. These are some of our guests. Thank you. And also, Kate Friedman and Karen Klett are UUSC staff who are with us. And one of the really beautiful opportunities we have when we travel to meet together like this is to be with and deepen our partnership and relationship with UUSC Grassroots partners. So I'm just so honored and delighted to share that leaders from UUSC partner Pop No in Guatemala are with us. Juan Jose and Sylvia are also with us, and we're so glad to have you. So I don't mean to put them on the spot, but I've heard them speaking about their work this weekend, and so if after the service you want to say hello, please do. Sylvia and Juan Jose shared such powerful witness to the important work they're doing in Guatemala, some of which involves reuniting children who have been deported back home with their families, supporting communities, beautiful work that they're doing in Guatemala. So I hope you'll have a chance to greet them and say hello. And thank you so much for joining us this morning. I also wanted to thank some of you who I had the chance to meet yesterday as we joined Impact Texas, I think it was, at the rally at City Hall, watching as some of the NRA conventioners walked by with their hateful messages, but gathering ourselves in a spirit of hope, demanding sensible gun laws. It was so inspiring to be with you all and to share this witness here in Dallas. Thank you for the work you're doing. I was a congregational minister for 28 years, most of which, actually all of which was in the South, and some of it in the Deep South. My first congregation was Tyler, Texas, in fact. So I am so aware of the powerful work that happens in Unitarian Universalist congregations in the South, and I thank you for showing up and for being a witness to the values that our world really needs, that we have to share. And a special shout out to Reverend Chris. I'm so sorry not to be able to be with them this weekend, but I so appreciate Reverend Chris's this warm invitation and welcome even from afar. I wanted to just share that some of you have probably never heard of UUSC, so I want to say just a few brief words, that the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee is an 85-year-old independent human rights organization. I emphasize independent because almost every time I speak about UUSC, someone comes and talks to me and I realize they think we're part of the UUA. And we're actually an independent organization. We partner in many wonderful ways with the UUA, but are an independent organization. We are powered by UUs and other progressive people of faith and conscience who join us as members and supporters. 38 of you, and we're hoping for another 40 to join this morning. Thank you for your support, those of you who have been members. I hope through the stories I share in the sermon, you will know the impact you're having as a member, and if you're not a member, really want to be part of the work we're doing. Our reading this morning is the poem Matafele Panem, read by poet Kathy Jetnil Kitchener. Kathy is the founder of UUSC partner Joe Jikum, an organization in the Marshall Islands. Joe Jikum means your home and works to support the education and engagement of youth on the Marshall Islands as they face devastating impacts of climate change. You probably may remember that the Marshall Islands were the site of extensive and devastating nuclear tests, with the United Nations having provided the United States access and use of people's homes and land as what they called trusteeship territory, and causing massive displacement and ongoing harm to human and other life. On September 23rd, 2014, Ms. Jetnil Kitchener from the Marshall Islands was invited to address the opening ceremony of the UN Secretary General's Climate Summit, and on that occasion, she read this poem.
Dear Matafele Benum, you are a 7-month-old sunrise of gummy smiles. You are bald as an egg and bald as the Buddha. Your thighs that are thunder, shrieks that are lightning, so excited for bananas, hugs, and our morning walks along the lagoon. Dear Matafele Benum, I want to tell you about that lagoon, that lucid, sleepy lagoon lounging against the sunrise. Men say that one day, that lagoon will devour you. They say it will gnaw at the shoreline, chew at the roots of your breadfruit trees, gulp down rows of your seawalls, and crunch through your island's shattered bones. They say you, your daughter, and your granddaughter too, will wander rootless, with only a passport to call home. Dear Matafele Benum, don't cry. Mommy promises you, no one will come and devour you. No greedy whale of a company sharking through political seas, no backwater bullying of businesses with broken morals, no blindfolded bureaucracies gonna push this mother ocean over the edge. No one's drowning, baby. No one's moving. No one's losing their homeland. No one's gonna become a climate change refugee. Or should I say, no one else. To the Carteret Islanders of Papua New Guinea and to the Taro Islanders of Fiji, I take this moment to apologize to you. We are drawing the line here. Because baby, we are going to fight. Your mommy, daddy, boo-boo, Jimma, your country, and your president too, we will all fight. And even though there are those hidden behind platinum titles who like to pretend that we don't exist, that the Marshall Islands, Tuvalu, Kiribati, Maldives, and Typhoon Haiyan in the Philippines, and floods of Pakistan, Algeria, and Colombia, and hurricanes, tidal waves, and earthquakes didn't exist, still, there are those who see us, hands reaching out, fists raising up, banners unfurling, megaphones booming, and we are canoes blocking coal ships. We are the radiance of solar villages. We are the rich, clean soil of the farmer's past. We are petitions blooming from teenage fingertips. We are families biking, recycling, reusing, engineers dreaming, designing, building, artists painting, dancing, writing. We are spreading the word. And there are thousands out on the street, marching with signs, hand in hand, chanting for change now. They're marching for you, baby. They're marching for us. Because we deserve to do more than just survive. We deserve to thrive. Dear Mate Filipino, you are eyes heavy with drowsy weight. So just close those eyes, baby, and sleep in peace. Because we won't let you down. You'll see.
Thank you for the tech support. Mate Fele must be 10 years old now. Her mother is still writing poetry, still fighting for her people, fighting for our planet, planting seeds of hope, raising her precious daughter. And I trust she still holds a bold imagination for us. Did you hear that she said there will be no more climate refugees? Can you imagine it? A couple of months ago, I had the opportunity to hear author Dr. Ruha Benjamin, a professor at Princeton who has published a new book, Imagination, a Manifesto, it's called. One of the important messages of the book is that while we celebrate imagination when it comes to science, to technology, we have lost a capacity to hold a bold imagination about our future, our shared future, about issues of rights and justice. And in the book reading, when I heard her sharing about her book, she actually started us off with an exercise to demonstrate how true this is, and it was so powerful. So with thanks and apologies to Dr. Benjamin, I want to invite you into this exercise to see if it rings true for you as well. So I'm going to ask the people on my right to join me when I nod in your direction with "be bold," but really mean it. Be bold. One more time. Be bold. Thank you. And then those of you on this side, if when I nod in your direction, you would respond with "get real." Get real. Ooh, they did that awfully well. That was good. We can build smart cars that drive themselves and keep us safer. Be bold. We can educate all of our children. Get real. Artificial intelligence will open new doors for innovation. Be bold. We can provide a living wage for all. Get real. We can arm and train our police and military to create safety for some. Be bold. Ceasefire now. Get real. We will support life in space. Be bold. There will be no more climate refugees. Get real. Does it ring true? We have lost our capacity for bold imagination when it comes to building the new world we dream about, a world that embodies the values of human rights, even as we do not hesitate to imagine new futures with technology and so on. At the Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, we are blessed to be in relationship with partners who practice faithful imagination and healing connection. These are two fundamental principles I believe are needed as we weave a tapestry of love and action for a sake of a world that reflects our compassion, our commitment to peace, and to justice. This is a sermon about and an invitation to faithful imagination that is needed for a world where all can thrive, where all can flourish. I am grateful for the privilege of sharing stories from the work UUSC is doing with our grassroots partners around the world. Like the UUSC partners who met together 6 years ago now, coming from the Pacific, from Bangladesh, from Louisiana, meeting together with our indigenous partners in Alaska. In 5 rich and joyful days together, funded and supported by UUSC, indigenous climate leaders shared stories of challenge and resilience, and together imagined strategies and solutions that would carry their vision forward. I tell you, hearing the chief of the Newtok tribal community in Alaska, and Mark, a veteran climate justice activist from Fiji, I know that it is possible to hold at the same time the devastation, which they know so well, and the joy. This gathering of UUSC partners was the most joy-filled organizing and strategy gathering I've ever witnessed. There was music and laughter and beautiful color and an honoring of every person, young and old, all in service to joy. And this, as they shared the devastating impacts of climate change on their communities. It was largely the joy, I believe, that made imagining another world, a fairer world, possible. And some wonderful things came out of this gathering. One was a campaign to bring a legal lens to looking at the impacts and the harms that were happening for communities, particularly in Louisiana and Alaska. So 6 years ago, there was the seed of an idea and the hope that they, as communities, might get the attention of world leaders for human rights. Now I'm happy to say it was a year ago next month that this vision of theirs came to fruition. Last June, the special rapporteur from the International American Council on Human Rights joined UUSC staff and our partners in Louisiana and Alaska, surveying the impacts of climate on these communities and the way the state and federal governments are abusing the communities, ignoring their needs, stealing the support that should be helping them relocate and mitigate the harm that's happening. And since that time, the Special Rapporteur has issued a powerful report making demands that the human rights of these communities be respected, that their lives and communities and identities need to be protected. Here, I have another slide as well with just a few glimpses of the way the joy and the beauty propels the imagination and courage in UUSC partners. On the top left, in the middle, is UUSC Senior Partnership Officer Myra Dagapa, with partners from Burma who are resisting the military's illegitimate rule and fighting for recognition of the genocide against the Burmese minority Muslim community, the Rohingya. On the top right are leaders from the Black Justice Alliance in Poland, sharing their joy in building community for people who have been deeply traumatized, both by the war in Ukraine and by the relentless racism that they are met with as they are trying to find safety in other places. And also the racism that they encounter from many of the aid agencies who are supposed to be helping. And the bottom photo is from Equality Bahamas, where women are fighting against ongoing disenfranchisement and the oppression of LGBTQ+ people in the Bahamas. We've learned a lot from Alicia Wallace, the director of Equality Bahamas, about the incredible barriers that women in the Bahamas face, not only with the right to vote, but on just all of the rights that they should be granted. UUSC partners do not deny the devastating intersectional systems of oppression that order so much of our world, and yet, in joy and with courage and imagination, they resist. In 2019, at the time of the youth climate strike, remember the big global youth climate strike, Rebecca Solnit wrote a letter, a love letter. Rebecca Solnit is an essayist and author who writes about contemporary issues. And she wrote an op-ed that was published in The Guardian in 2019, in March of 2019. I love this piece. In part, she said, "I want to say to all the climate strikers today, thank you so much for being unreasonable." That is, if reasonable means playing by the rules, and the rules are presumed to be guidelines for what is and is not possible, then you may be told that what you are asking for is impossible or unreasonable. They will tell you the rules are that those we see in the news and the parliaments and the boardrooms hold all the power, and you must be nice to them, and perhaps they will give you crumbs or the time of day or just a door slammed in your face. They will tell you that things can only change in tiny increments by predictable means. They are wrong. Thank you for not being reasonable. Thank you for showing up at a rally in the face of the NRA, right? Thank you for not listening when they say, get real. At UUSC, we engage in the work of human rights through partnerships of radical trust with grassroots organizations creating community-led change. Our mission affirms the inherent dignity and power of all people. Hear those words, the inherent dignity and power of all people. The addition of power is a critical addition, I believe, to that affirmation. Because just as a lack of imagination prevents us from the work that is needed, a perception that we are powerless paralyzes us, essentially giving in to systems and governments who are counting on us to surrender, to be hopeless, to practice despair. Leaving power out also, importantly, causes us, when we don't acknowledge the power of all people, this can cause us to treat other people, people who are facing systemic oppression, as though they are their oppression, that this defines them. And defining people by the ways systems have marginalized them is not only a lie, it perpetuates injustice. UUSC partners consistently and stubbornly claim their power and reject the notion that there is little we can do. It is such a privilege and an inspiration to work with these partners. Like the 27 young adult law school students who have demonstrated for many around the world the potential of people with a vision of justice and equity who know their power. Maybe you've heard their story. In their environmental law school classroom at the University of the South Pacific, they were given the assignment to imagine the most progressive and ambitious climate change action, international climate change action, that they could take in the legal arena. They researched previous actions and campaigns and decided that what they wanted to propose was that the United Nations General Assembly direct the International Court of Justice. Can you picture them, the 27 law school students sitting in their classroom at the University of the South Pacific? They wanted the United Nations General Assembly to direct the International Court of Justice to issue an advisory opinion for the first time articulating the human rights impacts of the climate crisis and demanding accountability from those who are responsible. They took their proposal to the Pacific Island Forum, essentially got a nod and a congratulations. I hope they got an A. But this was not an idle exercise for them. They wanted nothing less than a vote at the UN General Assembly directing the Court of Justice in this way. So they formed the Pacific Island Students Fighting Climate Change and launched their International Court of Justice Advisory Opinion Campaign. UUSC was one of the first funders of the Pacific Island students. This is a picture of UUSC's Director of Advocacy, Salote Sonko, with Solomon and Vishal, campaign directors at the time. They visited Boston in 2022 to meet with us, and Solomon and Vishal told UUSC's board and our stewardship circle that it was funding from UUSC that made it possible for them to attend the International Climate Conference in Scotland at the very beginning of their campaign. And though our grant, UUSC's grant, was relatively small, through our funding their being present in this setting and joining the table of people in conversation, they found new funders, made new connections, including with larger organizations like Amnesty and Earth Rights and 350.org and so on. UUSC also supported them by providing UN credentials, connecting the leaders with housing in New York for the 4 months they spent in New York during the beginning of their campaign. It's one of the things I love about being at a small organization, that we are able to move quickly, agilely, and even the small efforts and support that we provide sometimes can be the critical piece that provides a turning point and makes other things possible. They obtained the sponsorship of the nation of Vanuatu, and the 27 students and the government of Vanuatu took their campaign to the world, ultimately, unbelievably, receiving support of over 120 nations. Can you imagine? On March 29th, 2023, the United Nations General Assembly adopted, by unanimous consent, the Pacific Island Students' proposal. You can clap, please clap. I cannot remember their achievement without getting chills every time. And you know what's next. There's still so much work to do. We're anticipating the vote happened a little over a year ago. The opinion should be issued within 18 months of that vote taking place. And when the opinion is issued, then we will be, and actually we already are working with the Pacific Island students to gather support so that we can hold nations accountable to the opinion that the court will be issuing. Around the world, with your support, UUSC works with partners to challenge the systems that disconnect us, the systems that allow us to turn away or to shrug helplessly and sigh, "Get real." In rejecting the notion that there is no other way or little we can do, feminist activists in Poland, the Pacific students, grassroots groups in Burma, feminist farmers in Nicaragua, support communities in Guatemala and Honduras, land and water defenders, democracy activists in Haiti, and many others are building healing connection and regenerative economies so that all may flourish, so that all may thrive. Friends, when you are tempted by despair, I hope you will remember UUSC partners. I hope you will remember that we can resist injustice. Our resistance can take the form of organizing, supporting human rights through your support of UUSC. It can take the form of rallying for sensible gun laws, for joining at Carrollton Pride on June 1st, for advocating for peace. From the most local actions and partnerships to global solidarity and disaster relief in places that rarely see the front page. The opportunities to use our power and share our resources are real and represent significant power when we act together, when we partner for justice. We can educate all of our children. We can provide a living wage for all. Ceasefire now. There will be no more climate refugees. Amen.
We've done things in a little bit different order today. We've moved the offertory to the end because we wanted to have our Share the Plate recipient, Unitarian Universalist Service Committee, do their presentation prior to taking this offering. So thank you to Reverend Mary Catherine for her excellent words today, and thank you in advance for your support of this important organization. We will now gladly receive and offer the offering. We extinguish this flame, but not our mission to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world. Please rise in body or in spirit for our closing hymn. Number 1015, I Know I Can.
I
every day we wake to some new glimpse of our world rife with devastation. May we hold each other tenderly in this truth and commit again to our part in mutual healing connections for justice, because this is a breathtakingly beautiful world we share, filled with joy, and we can be love. Go in peace.